Great. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this call today, on this Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, wherever you are. Rachel and I are so excited that you are ready to learn about this revolutionary phototherapy technology that we were introduced to about 9 months ago now. I am Beth Blackmore. I'm a health and empowerment coach, having gone through my own health journey 6 years ago. It was 6 years ago this March when I started making some significant changes with my lifestyle habits, my food choices, resulting in a 60-pound weight loss. And so little did I know at that time that that was really the beginning of my conscious awakening. I ended up walking away from my government career in HR, my government pension, due to the lack of medical freedom a couple of years ago. And I went on to pursue my passion in helping people to take control of their health. So I consider myself a lifelong learner, open to new information and embracing change. Recently, I've been exploring the whole realm of quantum biology, circadian rhythm, thanks to my friend Rachel, and really harnessing the power of light, waking up with the sun, eating shortly after waking. And I feel that embracing the power of light is this next phase of my health journey and this constant evolution. So when my friend and fellow coach Rachel showed interest in learning more about a phototherapy patch, I knew I had to take a closer look. So I invited Rachel on a call with my friend Diane Hunt, who's also on this call today. We'll hear her powerful testimonial a little later. But basically, Rachel and I were blown away by the information you're about to hear about this technology, the company Lifewave, and the life-changing testimonials. So we signed up almost immediately. We put our first order in and we did what any good daughter would do. We patched our moms. My mom, who had knee pain for years, noticed significant relief in just a few days. Her physiotherapist that she was seeing a couple times a week noticed increased mobility, less inflammation, asked her what she was doing, what she was taking. And she said the only thing that had changed was this light patch that her daughter put on her. And so not only did her knee pain improve, she also started experiencing deeper sleep, more energy, more stamina. She was able to return to her favorite activities like walking and gardening and swimming. And for me, the benefits have been life-changing as well. I'm finally sleeping through the night, having vivid dreams, which is unheard of for me. I used to have this lower back pain and compression issue that I had dealt with for years. That eased up within a week of patching. My energy, my mental clarity have improved, which is helping me to keep up with everything on my plate. But what fires me up is that I know that the best is yet to come. My body is healing and repairing and age reversing, as you will soon discover. There's also an incredible financial opportunity with the trajectory of this company. So more on that a little bit later. Before we dive into the formal part of this presentation, I'd love to invite my friend and co-host Rachel to introduce herself and share her journey with you. Rachel.
You, Beth. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And I apologize for being late. My computer, I'm still trying to get through my tech challenges, but I think they're ongoing all the time. So anyways, as Beth said, my name is Rachel Maurice. I worked as a Canadian anesthesiologist for close to 20 years out west in British Columbia. And I left the practice in 2021. A few years earlier, I had started to look outside of what I had been taught in conventional medicine when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And I really had no idea what was out there until that time. I shouldn't say I had no idea. I did know, but I was taught a specific way of looking at the body and looking at disease and being able to help people. And since 2021, or since 2020, I should say, I started looking beyond that and discovering that a neurosurgeon out of the US named Dr. Jack Cruz, who kind of ripped apart the foundation of everything that I had learned about how the body works. And not to say that everything was wrong, but it was very incomplete. And therefore, the model with how we actually help people is very incomplete. And what I mean by that is everything in our body and our physiology and how the body works actually starts with light. So this was something that was new to me. It was initially somewhat disturbing that I had not been taught anything about this, but then became very exciting as I started to learn more and reignited my passion for learning. And what was even more exciting was that the ways that one can help with the body and healing is actually very simple. It's not necessarily easy as we'll see with these patches, these are easy, but some of the other strategies, lifestyle changes, are very simple, and it affected my life in a very significant way. And along the lines of learning about light, learning about how they target the mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of our cells, and they do a lot more, but they are at the center of our health. On this path, I came across these patches. And initially I dismissed them because of how they were introduced to me. And then they came back around again as Beth was talking, and we had been talking together. And then with Diane Hunt, who you're going to hear from later on, she was speaking my language because she was a cardiac surgical nurse for 20 years. And it just was timely because my mom's heart was declining significantly. She'd had heart issues before, but it was really taking a rapid downturn. And what Diane was sharing with me, knowing that she was coming from the same understanding, the same model, the same experience, and had seen the same things in medicine, I knew that what she was sharing with me was very significant, and not just subjective, but objective measurements from tests. And again, it was nothing like I had seen in my 30-year career, what she was sharing with me. So there was absolutely no downside, no reason that we would not be getting my mom on these patches, because the alternative was surgery. And from what I had seen, basically, I would, to anyone out there, if one can avoid surgery, I would opt for that option. And so we got my mom started, and I'll share what's happened with her later on when we come to the testimonials, but that's really how I started and got involved with these patches. So we'll get on with the presentation now. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Rachel. So I'm going to share my screen, and I hope that that worked and you can see it. Maybe a thumbs up if you can let me know that you can see it. Awesome, thank you so much. So my question for you is, who is ready to learn how to activate your body's own healing with the power of the patch? And really, this isn't just any patch. What makes this patch so unique is that it supports your body's natural healing ability by using your own God-given light. So just a little disclaimer here up front, Lifewave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. This is not a medical device that requires FDA approval. This is actually a patch that is FDA recognized as a general wellness product. And so everything that we present, everything that will be discussed tonight will focus more on general wellness, addressing symptoms and experiences rather than specific diseases. So talking about symptoms and what you might be experiencing and feeling, are you feeling like you are lacking energy and struggling to keep active? Are you feeling older and frustrated that your mind, your body are not functioning like they once did? Does it feel like you've hit a wall and it's all downhill from here? Maybe you have some inflammation, some mobility issues and pain that are slowing you down, preventing you from living your best life. Well, I want you to imagine for a second if you could feel more energized and do all that you need to do in life, or all that you want to do in life. Imagine if you could have more mental clarity, could think clearly, stay focused. Imagine if you could be more active, and not only that, but level up your physical game, building lean, strong muscles, recovering faster. What would it feel like to be in a more relaxed state, better sleep, where you wake up in the same position that you fell asleep in? And on top of all that, who wouldn't want to age gracefully? Have smoother, more youthful skin, regrow your hair, maybe get your natural hair color back, maybe no longer require your reading glasses. So imagine if you could reverse the aging process. So something that you may not know, I certainly didn't know, that as we age, the reason why our bodies are slower to heal and repair is because of the decrease in healthy stem cells. They actually go dormant. So by the age of 30, healthy stem cells decrease by 60%. And by 60 years old, those healthy stem cells decrease by a whopping 90%. And so not only is the natural aging process contributing to our decline in health, but unfortunately our modern living environment, right, with the constant exposures to toxins in the air, in the water, in the food, and the man-made synthetic radiation everywhere, this all leads to cellular dysfunction. And I mean, I have to admit that I really had no idea. I mean, I'd heard the term stem cells, but I didn't really know what they were all about 9 months ago. but they are the baby cells. They replace the old dying cells. They actually become your heart cells, your lung cells, your liver cells, your hair cells, and even your brain cells. And who doesn't need more brain cells these days? And sure, we know there is stem cell therapy, right? Which is expensive, but people need to travel to get it. It's not readily available. It's invasive, it's risky, and it's actually only about 50% effective. And it's not systemic. It actually stays local to the injection site. So this is where stem cell regeneration becomes exciting and why the phototherapy patch is such a powerful option. So activating healing with light or phototherapy is nothing new. We all know the sun is a form of phototherapy, signaling our bodies to make vitamin D. But photobiomodulation, say that 10 times fast, that is a type of light therapy that uses specific wavelengths of light to stimulate cells, boost energy production, promote healing. It reduces inflammation, improves blood flow, and helps with tissue repair. But best of all, it is non-invasive, it's accessible, affordable, and risk-free. So now, what if I told you there was a product, one that uses this very technology of photobiomodulation, so basically uses your own body heat, your own light, which is a type of infrared light, right, to increase a naturally occurring copper peptide that's found within the body. So that's exactly what the X39 patch does. So using our body's own infrared light, it stimulates the production of our human GHKCU copper peptide. And this is known as the holy grail of age reversal. It's not synthetic peptides. These are your own. So this X39 phototherapy patch, it's on my wrist right here. This is, it happens to be David Schmidt's 39th invention, so hence the name X39. So this patch actually bumps up the production of GHKCU, which is this naturally occurring universal copper peptide that goes to work all over the body. And so thanks to Lauren Picard, PhD and researcher, we know the incredible benefits of this copper peptide. He isolated back in 1973, and so there's actually 50 years of research to back it up. And you can actually find all sorts of studies about copper peptide GHKCU on pubmed.gov, which is an online repository of scientific research. So some of the incredible benefits of GHKCU that we know, so it stimulates blood vessel and nerve outgrowth. So think regeneration. It boosts collagen and elastin. Again, our own collagen, right? Not exogenous sources. It also has multiple anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety, anti-pain, and even anti-cancer properties. It's capable of resetting over 4,000 genes in our genome, essentially resetting and repairing our DNA to a younger, healthier state. But here's the clincher. The GHKCU reactivates dormant stem cells. And so how does this little patch increase GHKCU? Well, now that you understand the power of the peptide, let me introduce you to the power of this patch. So Lifewave X39 is a small wearable phototherapy patch, about the size of a quarter. David Schmidt, he developed it, the founder of Lifewave. He patented this product he created it with photobiomodulation. So it's using your own body's infrared heat to activate a crystallized lattice. And so this lattice structure is made up of organic materials. And so that includes amino acids, sugar, water, oxygen, and salt. So in fact, it actually acts like a mirror, reflecting specific light frequencies back into the body, signaling biological changes at the cellular level. So these patches are latex-free, non-transdermal. They contain no drugs or chemicals or stimulants, so they're safe to use without interfering with any medications. There are no contraindications because nothing is being absorbed into your skin. So I'm going to turn the mic over now to Rachel to walk us through the incredible benefits of the X39.
Thank you, Beth. I just want to pause here for a moment and just have everybody realize that although we have not really thought about light affecting what goes on in the body, it's extremely powerful. And Beth already touched on one thing about vitamin D. And we all know that we need to go out in the sun to make our own vitamin D. Yes, there are supplements in the store, but they are very different. They are not like what happens when the sun hits our skin and signals to our body to make vitamin D. So the sun is not giving us vitamin D. The sun is telling our body how to make vitamin D. We also have this idea. We know that when we go out in the sun, we can get a tan. So what that means is the sun, again, is giving the body signaling to the body and signaling to our cells, specifically in the skin, to make melanin, that pigment that gives us a tan. So our body responds to light signals. Now, that's from the outside. We also make light from the inside, something I was not taught in medical school in my conventional medical education. But we make a type of infrared light, and we also make an ultraviolet light. We're talking about the infrared here. We know that infrared light is actually synonymous with heat, and we know that we produce heat. We're warm-blooded mammals. And so this infrared light and this infrared heat is what is modulating. We want to think of it as light because that is what's modulating and giving all of these physiological effects. And again, one thing that Beth touched on, photobiomodulation, there are over 10,000 studies in PubMed on photobiomodulation. So this is a verified, documented, it's a science. It is not anything that if you go to your doctor and they say that it's not real, that is absolutely untrue. So I just want you to know that. So if that is said, you know that you can go look up over 10,000 studies in PubMed. So now back to the presentation, the slides here, we have the benefits of Lifewave and the X39. And again, Beth talked about the reduction of inflammation and pain. So some people, if you're not familiar with this idea of inflammation, it is actually at the foundation of almost all chronic diseases. So imagine being able to reduce inflammation and that being able to help alleviate, if not reverse, symptoms from diseases. And again, pain, I think the statistics is probably higher, but the last time I had looked was over 30% of the population in North America is dealing with some kind of chronic back pain. And we just get used to pain, not that it feels good, but we just get used to that being the norm. So imagine now being able to have that being alleviated. It also improves strength and stamina and energy levels. So this translates not only into, for example, alleviating and reversing symptoms of diseases and giving us more strength, but imagine being able to take your fitness level to the next level. And we'll hear actually a testimonial from that about that later on. And improving muscle and bone density, improving mental clarity and reducing stress. And I just want to touch on this one as well, mental clarity. There's a lot of people that I speak to, and maybe it's the age that I'm at and the people I'm speaking with, but there seems to be a lot of brain fog that people are going through and memory issues, the ability to articulate. I know that happened with me when I got sick in 2020, and this has significantly helped that, as well as being able to reduce stress. Now, stress is a really big one, and as far as its impact on the physical expression of symptoms and diseases, and anything that comes up is manifested in our bodies. And the last 5 years has just kind of escalated the amount of stress and anxiety in our society. So being able to reduce stress is a really big deal. Balancing hormones and easing anxiety and improving hair growth and skin appearance. Now, this one, again, I just want to touch a little bit deeper on this. I know we talked about collagen, the increase in collagen, and that's kind of what we think about when we think about hair growth and skin appearance, and more of it being aesthetic. But collagen is actually the most abundant protein in the body. It's about 70% of the protein in the body. And it's extremely important for actually supporting our entire structure, all of the organs support, all of our muscles and tendons. And we've got the fascia is made up mostly of collagen, and that is riddled throughout our entire body, including going inside the cells. And what's even more important, I would say, is collagen, when it is structured, the way it's structured is has three, what's called a triple helix. It's got 3 strands that you might have heard about DNA being a double helix, so 2 strands wound around each other. Well, collagen has 3, so it's a triple helix wound around each other. And the reason this is important, because when it forms this structure, is it actually has a little nanotubule of water going down the center of this triple helix. And that's important because water in our body is actually how light travels through the body. And this is how these patches work, through light communication. So this collagen is a really important aspect of this, and being hydrated, again, which we'll touch on later on, is important for how these patches work. It also promotes cellular repair and wound healing and improves sleep quality. And this is another one that, yes, I'm sure most of us on the call would love more sleep. That's one of the complaints that I hear from a lot of people, is they just either don't get enough sleep, or they're just not getting the quality. So they wake up still feeling tired. Now, there's a lot behind that, but improving sleep quality is no small, it's not a small issue, because sleeping is when we actually do most of the repair and the regenerative processes that take place in the body. So even if we got the right number of hours, if we're not getting the quality that is needed, and this helps with, then we're not getting the repair and regeneration. So with good quality sleep, we then have the time and the ability to do the proper repair and regeneration. Next slide, please. So the long-term results here for the X39 is, within the first few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset. So what is the significance of this? This is quite a big deal, because in the early 2000s, there was something called the Human Genome Project, and they thought they were going to find the same number of proteins same number of genes as there were proteins. We have about 140 to 160,000 proteins in the body. They figured they would find that many genes, but they only found around 20,000 genes. So what that actually translates into is the fact that our environment, one gene can actually produce several types of proteins. So our environment is the signal to what protein is expressed. Now, 20,000 genes, and this product resets over 4,000 genes to a younger state. That is a significant proportion. And again, one more thing just to relate to, I think most people on here have heard about red wine and it being touted as having health benefits. And one of the reasons is because of the chemical called resveratrol. And it's even been bottled up, and you can go and buy it in a supplement in a health food store as a supplement. And the big hype over resveratrol is because it resets 2 genes. So here we have something that resets over 4,000 genes to a younger state. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes more balanced. And what that means is the right brain and the left brain are actually talking to each other again, which means they can communicate properly to the rest of the body, and the body can work in harmony. Within 3 months, collagen is increased. And I touched on collagen a little bit more earlier. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. Now, again, this is the reason that I delved into this product, was because of my mom's heart. So imagine within 6 months, your heart being able to reverse in age. I think the heart issues is the number one medical problem in at least the Western society. So as David Schmidt likes to say, it's not anti-aging, it's age reversal. So how to wear this patch. This is one of the things I love most about it, actually, because it's very simple. It is, as you can see, the size of it there, and I've got one on here. It's the size of a loonie for us Canadians, a quarter for the Americans. And it's like a sticker. So you take off the backing, you put it on in the morning, you wear it for 12 hours, you take it off after 12 hours. You can either throw it away, or you can wrap it around your dog's collar, which is what I do, or tape it to their belly, because there's still about 4 to 6 hours left of life in that patch. But we only want to wear it for 12 hours because we want to maintain the ability to respond to the stimulus. We don't live under sunlight 24 hours a day. We get a rest from it. So same with these patches, we want to rest from that light stimulus. We also want to wear it during the day because it increases energy. And I've had a few people who have, one person did not sleep at night, and I asked when they took the patch off, and they said, oh, whoops, I am actually wearing it at night. So again, I know there's a lot of information. Sometimes we can't absorb everything. So I just want to reiterate again, we wear this patch during the day. Once you remove it, like I said, you can either put it on a pet or you can put it on a plant. I've still yet to see someone do that and see if there's any changes with the plants. But then we want to repeat that process, put another patch on the next day and continue. And so the question is, how long do we continue that for? So the recommendation or the trial period for there should be at least a minimum of 90 days, because the research shows 97% of people see an effect by 90 days. So that means if you wear it for 1 week and don't see an effect, it means nothing. If you wear it for a month and you don't see an effect, that doesn't mean it isn't working. You can wear it for even, I don't want to steal this from Diane, but her father, after 3 months, if he were to stop, he would have said nothing happened. And it wasn't until this 4th month that he started to see big changes. And he is now playing squash and beating Diane in squash. And I think he said he's in his, I don't remember, 81 maybe, but anyways, you can elaborate on that later. So it does take time. The body takes time to heal. We've been conditioned in society, especially in medicine. I wouldn't say especially in medicine. We are, I heard this term, a drive-through society, and it's really true. We want results and we want them immediately. And if we don't get them, we think it doesn't work. In medicine, we give pills, we have surgery, we see immediate effects. We think that's a good thing, but that's really just a temporizing measure. So I just want to emphasize this, that these patches work with our own body's healing mechanisms. They take time. So it's really important. And I stress having patience, because just because you are, I'll get to this on the next slide, but just because you are using the patch for one particular issue, maybe it doesn't mean your body's going to go to work on that issue first. So what I said, it was a 3-month, 90-day trial. The recommendation really is a minimum of a month per decade that you have been alive on this planet. But really, it depends on your goal and why you're using the patches. For me, having spent 30 years in the medical system and seeing what I have seen, I really don't ever want to have to access it if I don't have to. So I am all about using everything that I can, especially naturally, to avoid and prevent any decline or disease or symptoms from coming on. So me personally, with something like this at $3.50 a day, I'm going to use this to prevent, I would rather prevent the decline than have to play catch up later on. You want to make sure you drink plenty of water, and water with electrolytes. So I touched a little bit earlier on why we want to drink water. I mean, we want to drink water because we want to be hydrated, and that's the way the body works. But it's important to have water on board because that is how light travels through the body. And I do know that if you are not drinking enough water, then you will not see the results as quickly. That is definitely true. So people who start to drink water, who have not been drinking water, do notice results happening when they had not before. The electrolytes are important because it helps keep the water in the body. If you just drank straight water without the electrolytes, without anything extra, you will pee most of it out. So the electrolytes help maintain and retain the water in the body. Because these patches work through increasing that copper peptide that was touched on earlier, GHKCU, it's a copper peptide. It's important that your body has copper to be able to form this copper peptide. The patches don't increase any copper in the body. They use what is available in the body. So you have to make sure that you give the body the substrates, the substances. So you want to make sure that you have copper. We used to, in our diet, be able to get about 4 to 6 milligrams of copper just by eating a regular balanced diet in the early 1900s. Now, because of all of the changes that have happened with our agricultural practices, we are lucky if we focus and try to get even 1 milligram of copper in our diet. So it's really important to seek out, I go to foods, over supplements first. So foods that are high and rich in copper are at the top of the list. Organ meats, not everyone's favorite, and not saying you have to go and eat that, but organ meats are at the top and they are nice and bioavailable. Next is oysters, which are, again, an incredible superfood in so many ways, not just in this way, but they are as well. And shellfish and seafood. And for those that don't eat any of those, avocados are rich in copper, nuts and seeds. So nuts being cashews at the top of the list, but you don't want to go eat a full cup of cashews. You still have to kind of be careful how much you eat. And I don't mean because of the copper, I just mean because we can go overboard with nuts a lot, but seeds, sunflower seeds are rich in copper, and probably everyone's favorite, dark chocolate. So just one little square of dark chocolate, it does not need to be an entire bar. One little square is enough for the day to get your copper requirement. Next slide, please. So what to expect? So this is what I was mentioning earlier. Everyone is different. We all come with a different set of genetic instructions, and we have lived a different number of years on this planet. We've all lived in different environments. We've experienced different toxic loads, different emotional environments, and we all have different perceptions of what's taken place in terms of our emotional and mental load. And so we are all different. We all have different, we express things differently, and we have different weaknesses and where things show up in the body. So when we start using the patches, the body has its own innate wisdom as to what order it needs to go to heal things and where it's going to start. Now, this is not something I was ever taught in my conventional medical education. I remember hearing as an aside, anyone who's familiar with Joe Dispenza say the power that made the body heals the body. And I remember the first time I heard that, I said, wait, what? I wasn't taught that. So the body knows how to heal. It's wise, and it's going to go and work on things that it needs to, and it's going to prioritize in its own wisdom what it needs to do first. So just because you use the patch, because maybe you want knee pain to go away, you want headaches to go away, you've got GI issues, and maybe 1 month goes by and you don't see any change. 2 months goes by, you don't see any change. 3 months goes by and you don't see any change. It is working. It's just working on something inside that you might not be noticing. We have about 100,000 at minimum, 100,000 reactions going on in every single cell, every second of the day. We don't feel everything that's going on inside our body. So we're not necessarily going to feel all of this stuff, all of the healing that's going on. But we do require energy for that healing. So if you feel tired when you start using this patch, that also means it's working. If it's beyond a month, then there's probably something else going on. But initially, we only have so much energy that we produce in the body. And just like a cell phone, when you're at maybe 50% battery level, well, your body's going to conserve certain things going on in the body so that you can allow that energy to go to work on where it's needed. So it wants you to relax, get the sleep, allow your body to put that energy towards healing rather than maybe activity or whatever else you're doing, so you can get the repair needed. You also want to practice deep breathing, because what that allows is more oxygen to come in. Oxygen is part of it's actually at the end stage where energy is being made. So again, bringing more oxygen into the body is allowing you to be able to produce more energy. Next slide, please. So here we have some photos of real results and real change. Now on the left-hand side, that's actually someone, I believe, it's on our team. And that is on the left-hand side, July of last year. And on the right-hand side, this January. So it's only a 6-month period. You can see the hair growth that's happened from the left-hand side over to the right-hand side. On the image on the right-hand side, we have this woman on the left. She has a curvature in her spine, which we term scoliosis. And this is really striking because this was only 1 month after being on the patches. Now it says here, you can see there's a bunch of different patches She was using the X39, which is what we're talking about today, the stem cell one, but she was also using a pain patch, and that's the company's 20 years old. And so there are other patches, but it's not a regenerative one. That one is just specifically to help with pain. So it was the X39 really that created this significant change here. And here we have on the left-hand side, this image is of someone with a condition called vitiligo, where we have less or patches of skin where there is no pigment. And you can see some kind of the splotchiness. I know the coloring is kind of different, but splotchiness on the back there on the left-hand image. And she tried everything to get rid of her vitiligo, and nothing worked until she tried the X39. I don't know the time frame of this, but you can see on the right-hand image, it's a nice uniform pink color. So there aren't areas of depigmentation. It's nice and uniform across her back. On the right-hand side, this is an image of, it doesn't really look like it probably to people, but it is a knee, and that's an incision from a knee replacement surgery. And so on the left-hand side, from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, that is only 2 days, that scar, the scar healing. And so I can tell you from working in the operating room for 25 years that is extremely rapid wound healing in 2 days. And here we have this, you don't have to know the details of this necessarily. It's a brain scan. And on the left-hand side, this is a 77-year-old woman. On the left-hand side, she was not wearing the patches, or this was prior to her wearing the patches. The middle image is 3 weeks after wearing the patches. And the third one is 6 weeks. So on the left-hand side, before she started wearing the patches, you can see there's a lot of red there, and that is equal to inflammation in her brain. There's some dark blue, which means low activity. What we really want to see is some more light blue and green. So after 3 weeks of being on the patches, there is no more red. So there's no more inflammation in her brain. There's still some of that dark blue. So that means low activity, but there's a lot more of this light blue and green coming in. And that means more coherence. And coherence is when the right side of the brain is talking to the left side of the brain, and they're able to coordinate the information and send it out to the rest of the body so everything's working in harmony. On the right-hand image, that's 6 weeks after using the X39, and I still no red, so no inflammation. There's a lot less of that dark blue, so there's a lot more activity going on in the brain, and more coherence because there's a lot more of that light blue and green. That's only 6 weeks of using the patches.
Thank you, Rachel. So now we are going to put a face to some of these testimonials. We have some people on here that have experienced some amazing results with the phototherapy patch, and I'm going to call on, so there's quite a few, I believe, tonight, which is exciting. So I'd ask you to keep it fairly brief, but I'd love to call on Tamara Chamberlain. If you're able to unmute yourself. Thanks,
Can
Tamara.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. So yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to kind of share my experience with the patches. Both my husband and I have been using our patches since about mid-August last summer after I met up with Beth to pick up a sleeve. And yeah, pretty much from the first moment that Beth gave me a patch and drove out of the parking lot and I put it on, I really noticed some great changes. So the first thing that I personally noticed was that some lingering hip pain that I've had for 5 to 6 years, which wasn't debilitating, but it was always very noticeable, more or less disappeared within minutes of me putting on my first X39 patch. And I haven't experienced anything since that time. So that's been incredible for me as a really avid golfer, because it was always on my right side. I'm a left-handed golfer. So that's just such a big change for me. I can't say how happy that makes me. What else going on? I have seen a real spike in energy. My sleep has gone from around 6 to 7 hours a night and waking up frequently in the middle of the night or having difficulty falling asleep and being up until all hours of the morning, to sleeping 8 to 9 hours at night, almost every night, straight through, not having to wake up, go to the washroom, anything like that. So I think that's made me a much more pleasant person to be around. Hate to say it, but I really think it's true. And my husband has also been experiencing great sleep with his. He's a very avid dreamer from the get-go, but his dreams are much more vivid and he can remember really intricate details. So great change for both of us on that front. What else? My husband has had digestive issues since about 2006 when he broke his ankle and had surgery and was taking antibiotics, and has always struggled since then to get his digestion back up and running and absorbing nutrients. And he's noticed a marked increase in his ability to digest the food and get the energy and whatnot from it since he's been wearing the patch. So that's been a great change on his front that he's been struggling with for years. For me personally, one of the things that I didn't set out to notice, but I have really noticed in the the last few months is that about a year and a half ago, I had 3 fillings fall out of my molars, and the spots where those fillings used to be has 0 sensitivity in them anymore. And I can tell just by touching them with my tongue that those cavity areas that used to be there are growing in naturally without any additional help from dentist. And certainly I haven't gone back to the dentist in a number of years because I don't have a health plan anymore. So it's saved me quite a bit of money, but it's super exciting for me to know that I don't actually have to worry about that going back to the dentist and trying to get those taken care of either. So what else? Yeah, my husband had a cold in December, put on an Eon patch, his X39, and an ice wave on either side. He went back to bed for about 30 minutes, woke up feeling great. Sore throat was gone by the end of the day, and he's usually out with a man cold for 3 to 4 days and no man cold whatsoever. So those are some of our more noticeable ones, but I'm sure there's been a few small ones too. But thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Tamara. Check, check, check. Getting it all done with the phototherapy patch. Thank you so much for
Exactly.
sharing tonight and
Great.
being a part of our team.
You're welcome.
All right, I'd love to call on Diane Hunt. So Diane Hunt is the one that introduced me to this patch, and I would love, Diane, for you to unmute and share your incredible story with us.
Yes. Hello, everybody. So my name is Diane Hunt. I live in Utah. And like Rachel and Beth mentioned, I was the one that introduced them to this amazing patch. History for me was a nurse of 20 years in the critical care ICU unit, open heart surgery, and then also electrophysiology lab. I have never seen miracles, and I say this with all my heart, literally. Miracles like I see with this, like Tamara just said, like it works on everything. And so for me, I was dealing with healing from 2020. I got sick with whatever was going around back then. And I just felt like I never fully recovered. I was really struggling with taking deep breaths, even just going for walks. I would feel like I would get very winded, short of breath. People thought I would be out running if I was just having a phone call with them. So I was very concerned about that. And then also it was throwing off the energy in my heart where I was having palpitations multiple times throughout the day. And if anybody has ever experienced that, it's sort of this balance of feeling your heart beat and then also feeling a bit of anxiety. And so that was my main reason of me praying every day, multiple times a day to God, like, please bring me something natural that will heal me. I am somebody that has all the things natural, you name it, I have it. But for some reason, I never heard of this. And it's been around for 20 years. And I was very surprised that I never heard of it. But thankfully, a friend from Florida who's also a nurse who had amazing heart results reached out to me, asked if I've known of this patch. And so I looked into it, and a few things that jumped out was helps with inflammation, reverses cardiac age by just wearing it for 6 months, reverses it 8 years, and then helps with pain reduction. Because like they said, I think it was Rachel mentioned, my 81-year-old dad, who's been in the Navy, very active all my life, was going downhill quick with plantar fasciitis, gout, sciatic pain. And I wanted something for him, for myself. So I ordered it. I put it on all my loved ones, kids, parents, husband, and wow, when I say like it was amazing what unfolded. For me, it was 24 hours. I was able to start running again, join, a workout where I could go out on quick sprints on the treadmill. Also, never had another palpitation. I also had dry eye floaters, which was just an amazing surprise that that was even something that would help. So I no longer have that. I don't need my readers anymore. My dad, like Rachel was saying, we play racquetball now. He used to be in a cane and a boot. We'd have to help him up from a seated position. The man feels 60. He just texted me the other day how amazing he feels. And it's just so amazing to have your quality of life back. My mom, just really quick, ladies, had vertigo today so bad she called for the past 2 days, like couldn't even get out of bed, would be so nauseous. I was like, I'm coming over. I patched her with 2 patches. I just checked on her. She's playing cards with my dad. She feels amazing. So it's just the testimonies just keep coming. My husband doesn't snore anymore. He's snored for like 20 years of me knowing him. So amazing. I don't want to take it up any more time, but obviously I could go on for another hour. So thank you.
Thank you, Diane. And thank you for being persistent with me because it did take, Diane was very patient with me. Have to be honest, it took her about 8 times to reach out to me to get my eyeballs on this. And so I so appreciate you and what this has done for me and the people on this call, the people in my life. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's why we say it's the ripple effect. My gosh, you never know whose life you're going to impact just by sharing. So thank you for saying yes.
Thank you. All right. I would love to call on Andia. If you can unmute yourself and share your powerful testimonial.
Yes, I have my bullets written down so I can be quick for everyone. So my name's Andia. I am in recovery from addiction 17 years now. And you would think that after 17 years, you'd start feeling good, right? And I did at about 10 years. And about 6 years ago, I started kind of getting introduced to the science of light very slowly. It trickled into my life. And this patch has got to be the best thing that has come across my way since studying light. So it just so happened the first day I put the patch on, I had quit coffee and I didn't have any caffeine withdrawal. I was waiting for those days of withdrawal to start. Thought I was just really full of a lot of caffeine and the withdrawal symptoms just never came. And then I've also since quit sugar and I had no sugar withdrawals. After about 3 weeks, I had brain fog lift, and I honestly, I didn't really know I had brain fog, but I felt this clarity and a lot of motivation. I have always struggled sticking to exercise, and for the last 3 months solid, I've been doing Pilates 6 days a week because I have energy like a little puppy dog. My energy levels are just are just really high. Um, a couple other little things. I no longer have hair fall. I used to lose a lot of hair, like washing my hair in the shower or whatnot. And I'm definitely sleeping better. And these are new glasses. I had to get new glasses because my eyes have reversed 0.25 diopters in each eye. And then I no longer have period cramps, which is really huge. But I too, like Beth and Rachel, actually got on the patch because of my mom. My mom has polymyalgia, and she had such intense leg pain that she wouldn't be able to walk down the stairs in the morning. She wouldn't be able to just do normal everyday functions. And my mom's very active, so obviously it was heartbreaking to see her that way. And when Rachel had told me about the patch, we were actually recording on a podcast. So when the podcast got done recording, I was crying and I was like, I need this patch for my mom. I need to get it on my mom. And my mom's been wearing the patch the same amount of time as me, a little over 4 months. And she no longer has that leg pain. She still has some pain for her polymyalgia, but it's very manageable. She's been able to do all the things that she was doing. And her medication went from 3 pills down to one. And her goal, of course, is to be off her medication. And she is on that path. And I talked to her the other day and she had told me, I really have noticed my mood is a lot better. And another kind of fun, weird thing that I want to share with you all. So my mom and my sister are, they work very closely together. And so, as most of you know, women know, our periods will sync up when we're around somebody for a long time, right? So my mom no longer has her period, but she has what she has always called her ghost period. My mom has always gotten symptoms of her period, even in her menopause. And my mom would know when Cammie has her period because my mom would be having her ghost symptoms, right? And the other day, a couple weeks ago, my sister was at the shop with my mom, and my sister had mentioned to my mom that she had her period. And my mom was like, "You do?" So my mom actually no longer gets her ghost period. Her ghost period is gone now, thank goodness. But anyway, I thought I would share that. I have never heard of that, so I thought I would share that here. That is a new one since I last shared.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
all
that
for
is, thanks so much, Andia. Yeah, that's a new testimonial that we'll have to take note of. It's the first time I've heard that too. Okay, I'd love to call on Larry. Larry, if you can unmute yourself and share your powerful testimonial.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Larry.
Larry from Kamloops in Western Canada. Happy to be talking to everyone here, sharing my story. I've always been very active throughout my life. I like high intensity exercise, and my main sport has been cycling, both on the road and on mountain biking. And I've always relied on technology such as a heart rate monitor, a cycle computer, a power meter on the bike, which would give me objective data that I could use. I could put into a computer and let science figure out what's going on and then help me to train. And it would help me also give me feedback, especially with the HRV, the heart rate variability, to be able to see how I'm recovering. So I had a really good gauge of what was going on with my body physically, and loved to compete. And in fact, I was still competing in events in early 2021 when I became ill. And the illness, it hit pretty well every part of my body. I had terrible swelling through all my joints, body pain. I had the problems with my eyesight, my left eye. I could hardly see anything from it. Vertigo, ringing in my ears. I started to develop food allergies, and I had to be very careful with what I ate. But the other thing that came with it is I had difficulty exercising because my heart would race. It was similar to what Diane was saying, that my heart was racing, and then I would get palpitations. It would seem like it would start and then it would, or stop, and it would, get the pounding, and I would get winded so quickly. And I got to the point later that year in 2021 where I, even just to get up and go out of the house, I needed to be on naproxen and what's that horrible stuff for anti-inflammatory? It'll come to me, but prednisone. And I would be bound to bed. I could barely get out of bed, and if I did go up or down the stairs, I would have to rest part way. So this is how quickly I became ill. In just a matter of 6 months, I went from, being able to go out and literally race a bicycle for 4 or 5 or more hours at a high rate to being stuck in my bed and hardly be able to climb a set of stairs. And I couldn't get any help from the medical system. And so as time went by, I went on an elimination diet. I started using still have a large red light, near infrared light that I used. I did so many things that I could to try and get back my health, and it got to went on for about 3 years where I was not very good shape at all. And got to the point in the middle of that 3 years where I had I told my family that I think I'd had enough of exercising and riding my bikes, and it's just I don't enjoy it anymore. I think I'm going to sell them, but I didn't. But slowly I started gaining ground. I was still using my, heart rate monitor, my computer and everything. And it showed that I had the ability, my heart was racing, but it was only seen to be my cardiovascular system would only allow me to do maybe on a good day, 50% of what I could do before. And I would have to rest for 3, sometimes 4 days after not even a very intense time. But so in October of 2023, I was out on my mountain bike and I wasn't paying attention. I crashed and I dislocated my shoulder really badly. And it was painful. Thankfully, it went in by itself, but it was at the point where I wasn't able to use it much anymore. I managed to get through the winter okay, trying to get back on my training program because I was making gains. I was on basically just a meat diet. That's all I was eating. And then I met Rachel Maurice, and she introduced me to the X39 patch. And in a very short while, within days, all the body pain that I was experiencing left. The vertigo went. The tinnitus was diminished. And a little while after that, the floaters in my eyes went away. I would have little dots, black dots moving around. And I had a film over my eyes that I'd sometimes have to blink my eyes a number of times. And then I started to get excited about exercising again as well. And so that was in almost a year ago. That was in June of 2024. And I'm still, and so I'm still using all my computers and my gadgets and technology and everything to keep track of things. And my body has healed so much that it's back to where it was 5 years ago. My data tells me that I'm back up, and as a matter of fact, I got a notice here from my training program the other day that there's a something called VO2 max, and it talks about how much oxygen I can use when I'm exercising. And for my age, I'm in the top 1% of all the people that use Garmin gadgets to keep track. And my recovery and ability to do work puts me, according to the gadget, says that I'm comparable to being 20 years old. So this is how much I've recovered. So before I started using the patch in June of 2023, 24, I had done just about everything I could think of, and I'd reached a plateau. There was nothing else to do. And so the only thing that I really changed was started using the patch. And here I am now. I check my HRV in the morning. I use my technology, and the gains that I have made they're just beyond belief. And there's so many other great things, the brain coherence and everything else. So, but thank you for letting me share, and thanks everybody.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much for sharing. And we're so excited for you and the progress that you've made.
Yes.
I'd like to call on John and Sharon. If you are on the call, if you can unmute and share your story.
They told me they were on.
Calling John and Sharon. Yeah, I don't see their names, but you mentioned that maybe they were using their son's account.
I'll just check. Let's see. Well, in the meantime, I can share just what's happened with my mom, because I did talk about the fact that I started with these patches because of my mom. So my mom's got a lot of medical issues. She's 83, and the reason we started was because of the decline in her heart function. And again, knowing I talked about earlier that healing takes time and to have patience, I knew that I wanted her to remind her that she needed to have patience. So to give it a good 9 months, and we were going to wait and see what would happen. And so I was extremely shocked that within 2 weeks of starting the patches, her shortness of breath, so I didn't mention this, it's a big one. We used to walk every day, and we still walk, just not as much anymore because I'm a little busier, but she would have to stop every few steps to catch her breath because she was short of breath because of her heart failure. And after 2 weeks of wearing the patches, she was walking significantly faster, to the point it was noticeable for me because it was very painfully slow to walk before. And she was talking to me at the same time and walking on an incline, which is just really mind blowing to me after 2 weeks. After 3 weeks, she actually came over to my house with some lab work that was abnormal because she was being monitored for her heart. They threw in a bunch of other lab work, and you're not supposed to treat family. So I told her to go to her family doctor, but I told her I wouldn't be surprised if he actually lowered her thyroid medication. And sure enough, she actually had an appointment the next day, went, and he lowered her thyroid medication, which he has done a second time. Since then, she has had, first of all, her energy is much better. She's had an inordinate amount of hair growth. It looks so much better. I don't say that necessarily, but I do tell her she looks much better. She has, her friends say that it's very, very obvious and visible that she's got more energy and she just looks healthier. She's had a lot of skin issues. She's had spider veins, which are diminishing, varicose veins, which are going away. She's had a lot of skin, kind of raised skin bumps and things and lumps. And about 80% of that is gone. And she just has kind of a lot more life in her than she had before. So that's with my mom. A couple of things with me, just to quickly share, and I won't take up too much time. I didn't have anything that was necessarily obviously wrong with me before. I do try to take care of myself, but my mental clarity cleared up significantly. I got sick in 2020, I mentioned earlier, and I felt like my brain function went down to about 50%. I tried a lot of things, but it wasn't until the patches that it really started to clear up in terms of word finding, articulation, memory, just not being as stressed. It got to a point where I'd be embarrassed sometimes going out and talking to people in groups. So that was a big deal. The quality of my sleep is much deeper. And I say this, and I know this because I used to hear my kids come in at any hour. As a mom, your brain changes. You can hear a pin drop. For the most part, I would say it stays that way. And I would hear whenever my kids would come home after I'd gone to sleep, which is most of the time. But since using the patches, I now sleep in because I wake up in a panic sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning thinking they haven't come home. And I go to my phone outside my room and find out that they're actually in the house already in their rooms. So that's a big deal. These are other little things, like we think lots of people will say, well, I don't really have anything wrong with me, so why would I use the patches? We never know what's going on under the hood. We can live with up to 70% dysfunctional mitochondria in our body and not have one symptom. I have a little bone bump that just kind of popped out of nowhere a couple of years ago. It was about the size of a marble, and I didn't want to get anything done. I knew if I went to my doctor, they'd either cut it out, biopsy it, send me for a CAT scan or something. And I just didn't want to go that route. So I tried all these alternative things. Nothing worked. And I thought, well, I'm just living with this little size of a marble bump between my eyes. And of course, I feel it every day because it's right there and visible to me. But not long ago, it's shrunk. It's even smaller now than the last time I was sharing with both you, Beth, and Diane, but it's a size of a small pea now. So the only thing that could be is these patches, because it was large before. And the last thing that, again, I've noticed and didn't really think about as any kind of health issue. I mean, we don't think about our eyes and wearing glasses. We just, okay, where we wear glasses. But since I was a teenager, I used to swim. I swam a lot. I would walk around the pool, got athlete's foot, went into my toenails, tried everything for years on and off, and oral antifungals, topical antifungals. Nothing worked. I just cut my nails down as short as I could to mask how ugly they were. And not long ago, a few weeks ago, actually, I was putting on one of my socks and my nail got caught, and I went to look at my toes to see where to cut the nail. And I looked closer and realized that my toenails are actually 60% back to normal, which is, it's quite significant because that's 40 years of living with this fungus in my toenails and it's clearing up. So, you know, and Diane said it works on everything. It works on everything. You think that there isn't anything wrong with you if you don't have any symptoms, but you're constantly repairing in your body. And there are things that we just come to terms with and live with that we don't think of as a problem, but your body's working hard. It's working.
Yes, great point, Rachel. So I think we're going to share the screen again and get into the formal part of the program, unless John and Sharon are on. I don't know.
No, they just got back to me and thought it was 7 p.m. our Pacific time because that was the first number. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll hear from them next time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And just to finish off here, okay, everyone can see it okay? I just want to share who is behind this miraculous patch. So I do love sharing the heart of Lifewave, and this is the founder, the inventor of the product, David Schmidt. He's been an inventor his whole life. He is the CEO of this 20-year-old company. He actually started working with the US government. He was part of the Navy SEAL survival program where he was creating something that could keep the SEALs alert and mentally focused on these missions that lasted 36 hours. And that's where actually the first patch of Lifewave was born. And that was his first patent. Then David found himself at Stanford University putting those original patches on the US Olympic swim team. And they ended up having tremendous success with it, setting personal records themselves. But this was 20 years ago. In 2008, David realized that the future of medicine was in stem cells. And that's when he began to figure out a way that he could leverage the natural stem cells that are inside the human body. So after 10 years of research, $4.5 million later, in 2020, he had received a 20-year patent on the X39. And so this company went from a steady state $20 million company to closing out just in 2024 at over $600 million. So this is a 3,000% growth rate in 4 years, and we can attribute it to the X39. So for those of you that like to do your own research, there is a 22-page patent, but this one paragraph says it all: elevates copper peptide, activates stem cell, improvement in strength, stamina, pain relief. So this patent, by the way, is on the structure. It's actually on the material where the patch reflects specific frequencies of light back into the body. So there are clinical studies that show significant increase in the production of that copper peptide GHKCU measured by blood samples, urine analysis, other lab analysis. And so what you have to know is that this is a novel product. No one else has this. And in order to get a patent, you have to prove that it works. So you can check out, this is a really great site to check out, just down in the bottom right corner there. This is it, info.com. This is where the patent is, the clinical studies, the testimonials, really powerful testimonials. There's a whole section in there, everything from, you know, children receiving amazing results to, you know, all different parts of the body and different ailments. Also great videos, great interviews with David Schmidt, with doctors. So you'll want to check that out. So again, it's thisisitinfo.com. So it's important to remember that the benefits of this company and this patch go far beyond the surface, because maybe that means you're feeling a whole heck of a lot better about yourself. You have increased confidence because you're finally getting to the root and your body is healing. Maybe it's returning to a job that you had to quit because of the pain you were in. Maybe it's being able to not only return to an active lifestyle, but level up your physical game, adding muscle gains, setting new goals, just like Larry is doing. Or maybe it's having some financial freedom, as this company is the #1 momentum company in the industry of direct sales. So that simply by sharing with others can allow you to live a life with more ease. So whether that's just paying for your patches, covering an extra bill, or living abundantly, this is all available to you. This is all possible with the power of the patch. So let me share with you how you can start. So Lifewave offers 3 simple enrollment options. These prices are in US dollars for a month's worth of patches. So there's 30 patches in what we call a sleeve. It's an envelope. So first you can enroll as a retail customer paying retail price. You know, we see practitioners in the States setting themselves up like this, offering this to their patients. However, if you'd like to benefit from wholesale pricing, right, at the $99 price point, you have 2 additional options. Sign up as a preferred customer or as a brand partner. So we typically recommend signing up as a brand partner because not only do you unlock the wholesale pricing, but you also secure a spot on the team. You can leverage the incredible momentum that this company is experiencing by building a business without additional cost or overhead. So it's just the cost of your patches. So what we often see is that people begin to experience success with the products and they naturally share them with others. They end up building a business, sometimes even on a full-time basis. We also have many people on our team, including Rachel and I. We saw the opportunity right away and are building successful businesses. So signing up as a brand partner is actually additional. As I said, there's no additional investment or commitment. There is no pressure to ever share or build a business. There are several enrollment kits available to get started. And so the more that you purchase upon signing up, the better the value. And again, these enrollment kits are just for registering, just signing up. And then that way, if you do have extra sleeves on hand, right, you can start sharing them with family and friends in your life, your aging parents, loan them out to people, as we often do as they wait for their order. So it's always great to have extra sleeves on hand. And so you're setting yourself up for success, right out of the gate. So it's exciting not only where this company is going, but we are part of the #1 team in this company. The This Is It team with its incredible leadership, supports, training systems are in place, ready to grow your business. So no prior experience or training in sales or network marketing required, just a passion to help people with the freedom model, health freedom, financial freedom, time freedom. And you know, you can be rest assured that there is no competition. So there's no other company, there's no other product that comes close to offering what this product does. There's nothing else like it on the market. And so not only does it address people's health goals, but also their financial goals with a generous compensation plan. So I do encourage you to reach out to the person that invited you on this call. They can guide you through the ordering process, set you up with the best package and pricing available, walk you through the incredible opportunity at Lifewave. I would love to open it up for questions, but first I do want to thank you for taking the time out of your evening, of your afternoon, to being open to learning about this unconventional healing modality, and I so appreciate your time tonight. So I don't know if there are any questions in the chat, but I can check over there. But if you'd like to, Stephen, yeah, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Yes, I've come across Shirley, and she's the one who invited me into the meeting and all. And I've been speaking with her and working with her a little bit. And in my process of this, what happened is back in 2015, I had a surgery for an inguinal hernia, and my blood pressure dropped severely on the table for 23 minutes. And I basically was near death. They revived me, got me back, and did not say anything to my mother that was staying with me. And I come home, never had an issue with sleep whatsoever in my life. I was 48 years of age, and I have not slept a night since 2015 without chemically putting myself to sleep. Doctors do not know. They don't know what to do. So I'm hoping that this would definitely help. And it sounds like it will, but I've had, neurological scans done. I have a neurologist. He did say that he could see my pineal gland, but it looked fine. did mention that I had some blurring in the pars compacta area, which is an indication of Parkinson's developing. Don't know what that's going to lead to. You know, if it's come from the years of sleep deprivation that I've had, but I was just kind of wondering, you know, if I feel like this will help. What do y'all think? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited for you to start it because I think it could be very effective for you. And I mean, we can't guarantee anything, but I don't doubt that, I mean, you have nothing to lose really by trying it, and it really could be life changing for you. And so even some of the things that you've rhymed off, I mean, I know that there's testimonials out there that have, sharing about their experiences of, you were talking about Parkinson's, or I have no doubt that this could help to heal you. And I'm super excited for you, actually.
Right. Sounds great. I definitely want to give it a try.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, I have a lot more that I could share. I mean, it's been a journey, you know, it's
Yeah.
been a journey, and I was, like I said, I was very fortunate to have Shirley come into my life, and through prayer, she was brought into my life. So uh, I'm very, very thankful for that. And now it looks like I'm even going to be more thankful because of
That's
what.
amazing.
So
Yes.
it's a lot of promise and a lot of hope, and that's
Yes.
that's what I've been going on. So
Awesome.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what what I have to do to sleep at night. I mean, it's just to get 3 to 4 hours of sleep and 5 hours of sleep. I mean, it's just I have to take like 4 different things.
Yeah,
Um,
and I would just, so I mean, there are a number of different patches, and we always encourage people to start with the X39 because that is the one that seems to help people the most, because it is the one that regenerates our stem cells and goes to heal our bodies at the root. And that also helps with sleep. So I would definitely start with that. We also have another Silent Nights patch, which is specifically for sleeping. But I find I would just keep it simple right now and try the X39. And then there's actually even others for, inflammation and calming. So you can check those out too, but I would definitely start with X39. And I would encourage everybody to, there are 11 patches, I believe, in total. This is the one that seems to help the most people with the most things. So,
well, I know with sleep deprivation, I have, I've experienced anxiety, depression, all the symptoms that go along with your body not sleeping properly, because you basically not dumping your memory out at night and
yeah,
resetting your computer. So if you don't get into that good sleep that you need, and I know because it's taking me down slowly, and I've noticed especially over the last 6 months again, which I've had some setbacks with some other issues. We're having prostate cancer. I had it removed, which that was not a big thing, but I mean, it was a major surgery, but actually I come through it pretty good because I was hounding the anesthesiologist. You're not giving me this and you're not giving me that, because, but, it's just, yeah, I would like to definitely.
yeah, connect with Shirley. I would connect with her. Yeah, definitely.
I will do.
Thanks,
Thank
Stephen,
you.
and keep us
Thank
updated.
you.
All
I
right,
will.
take care. Simon, you have your hand up. You can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Hi, my name is Simon. I am from Smith Falls, Ontario. Mary Garvin, who was on here about a month ago, was on my upline and is friend from childhood. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here and say hi. I've sat in and listened to a few videos, and the neat thing is it's always different. The improvements are always growing with people, and been fun to see. And anyway, I had some pretty dramatic changes right away. Over the last couple years, I found that I was just suffering with more depression and more aggression and mood swings. Apparently I had a lot of concussions as a child. I don't know if that lasts into adulthood, but I had a bunch of lower neck vertebrae that I had learned were calcified whenever I was in my early 20s. And so that they had been stuck like that for such a long time. And anyway, within the first couple of weeks, it kind of just, the pressure of everything just dropped out. Of course, you don't realize everything you're working with and dealing with and trying to handle your day to day. But now, after like a month and a half, still changes. It's incredible. And my neck mobility is still growing. And so anyway, I'm excited. I'm just starting to tell people what's going on with me and sharing the X39 as I'm basically just coming to grips with the change that's happening with me.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we're glad that you're on the team and glad that you're experiencing such great benefits. Thank you, Simon.
Sure.
Denise, would you like to unmute?
Absolutely. I think it was India that suggested we make a list of a wish list of the things you wanted healed. And I've got issues, but overall fairly healthy. I'm at 11 right now of all the things that I would like healed. So that's pretty cool. But I do have a question, and I forgot to ask you previously, Beth. Is it one of those things, I don't know how to even say it, ask it. It's like, okay, you're doing on the X39, you've got all these benefits. If you stopped doing the X39, would you regress, or would your body hold its own? Or have people been on it long enough to know?
Yeah, so I mean, basically what the X39 is that because it does the healing and repair work and, getting to the inflammation and whatnot, that, what it has done in terms of the healing, that it's not going to necessarily regress. That healing is done. What will happen when you stop wearing the patches is you will go back into the natural aging process, right? And so I mean, it's not going to regress, but you will likely not continue to see the benefits like you were seeing with the X39. And like, I think, Diane, I think you've been on it for 2 years and things just keep getting better and better. And the wish list, she keeps checking off in terms of age reversal, and prevention, as Rachel has also touched on tonight, because we don't know what's brewing also under the hood and what we might be preventing. But the question, to answer your question, is no, it's not that you would regress, which is super exciting, right? Because you're getting to the root of cellular dysfunction. And so, yeah.
It's not like if you've got high blood pressure and you stop taking your blood pressure medication, the high blood pressure comes back. It's not like that. That's just a masking of symptoms. This is actually enhancing your body to do the healing.
I also have another question. I know that it would be hard to measure any kind of healing with the vagus nerve, but are you aware of any testimonials out there at all that might have something to do with the vagus nerve?
I'm not sure if anybody's specifically stated this has to do with, right? So I'm not sure what you're specifically asking, if someone's got something specific with the vagus nerve, or just in terms of having more of a relaxed, calm, less anxiety state about them. I don't know what
I'm just learning that you can have more than one issue with the vagus nerve. And like even myself, just learning that I have dizziness and off balance from time to time, and it's just unnerving, and it might have something to do with my vagus nerve. So it's like, just wondering.
Well, what I can say to that, because I don't know if Beth or Diana, if you've heard anything specifically where people have talked about the vagus nerve. There's a lot of neurological issues that we see changes with, or people have shared that there are changes. And these, the way the patches work is they get at this, they help on a cellular level. So really our cells and all of the different organs in our body, including nerves, are made up of cells. So if we're healing at the cellular level, then really we are healing, we can heal anything. So we've just, in modern medicine, decided to give names to 36,000 or more separated, divided issues, which really, it all comes down to cellular dysfunction and where it happens. And that's how we should be looking at it. But yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Jim, yes. Hello. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Ask to unmute. Maybe I can help you out.
Come on.
There we go.
There we
We
go.
can hear you.
There we
Yes.
go.
Hi, Jim.
Okay, my first time. Lynn invited me.
Great.
I have a question in regards, and it's probably taboo, and I'm sorry to ask it, but I need to know. I have a lot of friends and families and people that I know that have had the vaccine and are experiencing different difficulties in per se and injuries and things that are happening and and I've noticed a decline in their aging and all that sort of stuff. So with the healing and the aspect of what the rejuvenation of the body, so to speak, do you have any testimonials that of people that have experienced that have had the vaccines and have and after starting to use the patch have started to reverse their problems?
Yes. Yes, we have, which is amazing. So I don't know if the gentleman on the call tonight would like to share that. I don't want to call him out, but
Okay, that's fine. That's what I
he's
just
waving. Okay.
okay. Well, I
don't know
kind
if
of
he's-
thought that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
pretty
Larry,
perceptive.
yeah,
But
Larry,
before we get to Larry, so that and I just want to shout out to Lynn. Her and I were meeting last week, and have you heard about this X39? And then she patched me, and she says only wear it for 12 hours, and I said yeah, okay. And I woke up at 3 in the morning, and I went, oh shit, I forgot to take the patch off.
it
So
happens to all of us. It happens
I
to all of
know.
us.
So
Yeah.
I took it off, and that was on a Wednesday or a Thursday. And when I finally got up that day, I had so much energy. I got so much done. My clarity. I'm like, I was dumbfounded. I finally called her back. I says, I thought this doesn't react that quick, but with me, it seemed to, and Lynn confirmed that, So that's kind of a testimonial. I'm in.
One patch wonder. Yeah, one patch wonder. You're
I
it,
see
Jim.
the value, and I've got a lot of things that I'm hoping I can get cleared up. Injuries, torn Achilles tendon, rotator cuff. Oh, the knee surgery. I've had a total knee replacement, and that is amazing how quick in 2 days. Those were my knees. And how quick that healing process was. So
Yeah.
I'll
Amazing.
I'll let Larry if he wants to speak. And thanks. I'm glad I tuned in, and you'll be seeing me again.
Awesome. We're going to call you One Patch Wonder Jim.
That's cool. I've been called worse.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Larry, did you want to share any further?
Sure, I'll just make a couple of comments, Jim, to answer your question there. Yeah, that's in fact what I think was at the root of the problems, the health issues I had was the vaccine, and in a way it's a blessing, because Rachel was talking about how after she was ill, what happens is a person's consciousness changes and you realize that you want to know more about everything, and you want to know about it for your own self, because as you uncover how your body works, your body, mind, spirit, as you uncover how it works, it becomes energizing. Like you were saying, Jim, you get this energy and you want to keep going. And that's what happened. I just, everywhere I turned, I found that, well, I heard somebody say once that light or matter, all it is condensed light. Like our entire reality is just light in every aspect that you can imagine. And so, and then I found out that collagen is the communication network. It's like the fiber optic system in our body, and our cells communicate through our collagen. So the healthier our collagen is, the better we communicate. So then you've got all these trillions of cells that are talking to each other, and they're all getting on the same wavelength. And the brain starts working better, and you start having commitment to do your exercises, and it just builds. And so that's why you can't really aim for any one thing to happen, because your body just starts doing everything. You have no idea what's going on, but day by day, month by month, better things are happening. And so the best part of it is that I think for me now is that I look back and I go, I'm not even sure that whole vax injury thing even happened anymore. I get it's gone out of my consciousness. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Larry, for sharing.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions? I'm just looking. I don't see any hands up, but feel free to unmute and ask a question.
Hi, it's Pam here.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. So, Rachel got me onto these patches, and so it's nice I can finally speak for the first time, because normally all these happen during work hours. So, I just want to say that I initially started because I did had COVID twice and was vaccinated, and ever since then, I just didn't feel energetic. I had zero energy. I couldn't focus. My thoughts were all over the place. It was just impacting my work and my life. So I'd gone for many tests, and I had some blood markers that were off. And yeah, nobody could really figure out what was wrong with me. So I thought I would try this out, and it's been wonderful. I have my energy back. I have so much clarity. I can focus. I can think. I can be productive. Yeah, it's been great. There was times like I have two teenagers the same age as Rachel, and there was one Thanksgiving I had to send them to their dads because I couldn't do it. I had no energy, and it was horrible. So yeah, I'm just thrilled with the results so far. I also had like my voice, I was losing my voice. I was becoming hoarse, and I had many tests to see what was going on. They said it was inflamed, but they didn't know why. Wanted to put me on heartburn medication. I declined, so that's gone. I know it sounds like it right now, but it's getting better for sure. And then what else has happened? I put my mom on the patches as well, and she had restless legs syndrome for years, and that's gone for her. So that happened like 3 weeks after she started patching, and her arm goes numb at night, so that's getting better. But I think with time, she just started, so I think we'll see some more impact with that. My sleep has been incredible. I was religiously waking up, between 2 and 4, can fall back asleep. I sleep amazing now. I dream. I never dreamt before. So yeah, it's just been yeah, all these little things just keep popping up, and I'm very grateful to be on these. Yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate it. Pam, how long have you been on the patches?
December 10th, but then I did stop over Christmas just because I was experiencing like the kind of detox, and it was over Christmas and I didn't want to feel like that. And then so I started again after that, and it was amazing. Oh, I can't even believe I forgot this. I was so I'm 52 and I was having hot flashes, night sweats every single night. And then just after Christmas, when I went back on them, it's disappeared, and I haven't had any issues at all with that. So
Amazing.
before that, I went to a naturopath, and she prescribed me progesterone, and I didn't feel like that was doing anything. And so I stopped that, and then I started the patches, and it just cleared up without any medication. So yeah,
Wow.
that was huge too. I can't keep up with all the things.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so that's just with the X39, Pam?
Yep, all
Yeah.
that happened with the X39. I'm starting to experiment with other patches now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but that
Great.
was the major things were X39 for sure.
Yeah. And Larry too, just to confirm, it was the X39 for you too?
It was the X39 for probably 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was lots going on, and yeah, and then I think my next one I started using the X49.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
I think it was 3 months was just X39. There was so much going on. I didn't really want anything more
Yeah.
going on, I guess.
Yeah. Amazing. That's great.
Oh, and the other thing I forgot to say is I injured my knee 22 years ago. I had a complete rupture of the posterior cruciate ligament. And so I haven't been able to run for 22 years. And I went on vacation in beginning of the year, and I thought I'd take my running shoes with me. And I have this knee brace I wear, and I've started running again, and I don't have any pain in my knee. And I went out for 6K, and then I did like 8K and kilometers, and my knee is whatever's happened there. I don't have pain anymore, and I can run on it, and it's stable. So I forgot to mention that.
That's awesome. Yeah. You're age reversing, Larry. There's no question.
Yeah.
Jim, are you putting your hand up? Are you putting your hand up? Yeah.
Yes, there I am.
Yeah.
Just one other thing, because I either in the presentation or someone in talking mentioned about having more than one patch on at this probably the X39. Why would you have more than one on?
Good question. Yeah, the X39 is definitely the one that we recommend, as I said, because it does the most work, and it's the only one of the phototherapy patches that regenerates your own stem cells. So it really gets to the root and healing and repair work. There are other patches that David Schmidt had invented over the past 20 years that do other things. They might elevate other peptides in the body that also, help. So Larry mentioned the X49, for instance. So that elevates a copper peptide that is found in certain parts of our body. So our brain, our heart, our bones, and our muscles. And so there are a lot of people that are active or even professional athletes and Division I athletes in the States that are also pairing the X39 with the X49 to give them that extra competitive edge. There's other patches for other things. So the Eon helps with reducing inflammation. And so, so that the X39 can go in and do the repair work. If the Eon patch is helping with inflammation, then, it's not it's more effective or efficient potentially if someone's got a really, inflamed body, and you need to regulate their nervous system. It helps with that. So regulating nervous system, stress hormones, cortisol. Eon is another one that could be paired with the X39. However, we want to keep it simple for people, and that's why I mentioned for Pam and Larry with their experience, all of those amazing benefits happen just with the X39.
Yeah, what I guess I misunderstood. I thought some people were wearing two X39s.
Oh, I see. No, you wouldn't need to do
Okay.
that.
Right. And so as far as me, like I've had two knee replacements, two hip replacements. I've got a lot of inflammation.
Mhm.
So does the 39 not work for inflammation
It
as
does.
much?
It
Okay.
does help reduce inflammation for sure. And so that might be all that you need. You know,
Okay.
maybe you try that for a month
Yep.
and see how it goes. And then maybe you want to introduce the Eon patch to reduce inflammation or to become more efficient. I mean, there are people out there and practitioners and doctors, especially in the States, and I'm thinking of Dr. Jen O'Sullivan, who calls the partnering the Eon and the X39 the dynamic duo because it is a great potent kind of combo if there is a lot of inflammation in the body. And so some people do start off just boom with those two, but you don't necessarily have to.
Well, and then what really hit me was Diane Hunt when she mentioned about her dad playing racket sports.
Mhm.
Pre-COVID, I was playing pickleball 4 times a week with no problems, right? And
Mhm.
but now with the layover and all the stuff that happens to me, I could not even bend down and pick up a pickleball ball. So
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to being like her dad.
Yeah, awesome. That's great, Jim.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Just on the heels of that, they actually have done studies where they looked at if someone wore two X39 patches, and it only gives, and because some people, right, they think more is better, right? Everyone's got this more is better idea. It only increases the effectiveness, or you only get 20% more. So it's kind of a waste of money also, right? To wear two patches and then you're only getting 20% benefit more. But having said that, some people, they put a new one on the next day and then they might wear their old one from the previous day to get the last little bit out of it. So, oh, you're muted. I don't know if you said.
Oh, just when, like I say, I mistakenly wore it longer than 12 hours, right? So again, I think it was mentioned, but why only 12 hours? And if, I mean, you can put it on your plant or your animal after the fact, after you take it off. So why wouldn't it still be beneficial if you had it on for, say, 16 hours?
So the way the research was done is it actually shows the most benefit if you do 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
Okay. All right.
And you
Cool.
take it up, you want the 12 hours rest because, with a stimulus, if you continue to, give a stimulus to something, just, I don't know why I use this example, but because maybe I have kids, if a kid, one of your kids, and they're older now, but if they come and they're like, they tap you on the, and they're like, come on, I want you to do this. And you're busy, you're doing something and they keep bugging, they keep tapping you. Like initially you're like, okay,
Yeah.
stop. And then you just ignore it. Like you just don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So you want your body to notice the light. You want your body to notice when you put the patch on and notice that stimulus. If it's on for too long, it starts to not notice it anymore.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Denise.
Is there any cautions for children or any guidelines for children, any like an age or anything like that for children to use it and be benefited, or any cautions?
No, I mean, there were no studies done on children or pregnant mothers. However, I mean, it's people use it on their children. They use it on infants. They use it on, and they've seen remarkable results, right? Because it's not like the conventional, they're not consuming, it's not a medication. It's using the body's own light. There really is no risk factors, right? That it's not risky. It's just using your own light, and it's going to use what it needs to use in order to heal the body. So I don't know if Rachel, you want anything more to add there?
I was just going to say that most recently, one of the medical doctors on the team actually has been using it on his neonate who's in the in the NICU. So
Jim.
Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm an inquisitive fellow.
Yeah.
soon as she mentioned kids, it clicked. I have a friend that I was recently talking with that has a grandson, 3.5 years old, level 2 autistic, nonverbal, doesn't walk up and down stairs or eat with a fork or a spoon. Now I understand that's all neurological, but I'm assuming that this could help.
Yes, yep,
There are
definitely. There are amazing testimonials, powerful testimonials. Actually, on the thisisitinfo.com page,
Yeah, I
there's
wrote that down.
testimonials and there's children testimonials in there, and there's videos
Cool.
in there. Yeah, and actually, Lynn can probably send you in our testimony in our document. We have some really powerful testimonial videos that we can share out as well. So Lynn can round those up for you potentially.
And what when her and I were talking, or when I watched some of the info, what resonated with me was when she said during March break they're taking the grandson to Mexico or Puerto Rico for some stem cell
Oh,
stuff. So I'm like,
yeah, no, this would be
so
great. This would
yeah,
be if
so
they're
I'm
open, right? Because they're obviously open
yeah,
to,
yeah. So
yeah, and then
anyway, they're falling out of the woodwork to me, thanks to Lenny there.
awesome. That's great. That's great. Anyone else on the call like to ask any questions? This has been a great inquisitive crowd. It's been fun.
Yep.
Lyman, yes.
Hi. I was just reminded about a friend who was asking me about issues with varicose veins. Um, I mean, I've been studying kind of booklets and things, and I know that there's another patch that deals with skin issues. Would that help with that kind of remedy of limiting varicose veins? I know generally the idea is X39, let's see what it does.
Mhm.
But then would it be kind of something to double up together, kind of like a Aeon for inflammations type thing, but for skin issues?
That's a good question. I don't know. What do you think, Rachel, about the other potential patches?
Well, varicose veins are actually part of the vascular system. So it's part of the
Mm,
cardiovascular. It's
mm.
not a skin. It's not
Okay.
a, at all.
Okay. So vascular issues, and that's X39 all day.
And the X49 is also, so the peptide that Beth was mentioning with that the X49 increases is found specifically in brain, heart, muscle, and bone. So
Right.
heart is one of them. So that's one of the reasons I have my mom on the X49 as well.
Right. Right. And probably help with the mobility and things too. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Another advantage of the X49, for those of you that aren't aware, is that it also protects from EMF radiation. So it acts like a Faraday cage, the X49, especially when partnered with the X39. So another powerful patch there. Jim's gonna, yeah, his mind is blown. I know, I can tell. He's like, I gotta unmute. That's fine. You can unmute, Jim, if you have any other questions or want to share.
Dude. Oh, there we go. No, I experience EMF stuff like everything else, and it's that's good to know. Like I had my energy healer person come and visit me, and she couldn't. She just said once she got near my area, the EMF stuff was just too much for her. She could,
Oh,
sense it, but I also feel it, but not like her. So that's also good to know. Okay, well, I'm gonna ask it. How about shedding and spike proteins and any testimonials? I'm non-vaccinated, but I'm very susceptible to all this stuff for some reason. So I don't know if there's been any testimonials that it's helped people that might be experiencing the same things. That's a
I don't
puzzler, eh?
I don't think I haven't seen anyone to kind of target using those words that's that they've experienced anything. I mean, I think basically, I mean, there's Larry's story. Diane and I met somebody down in the last trip that we went on who was vaccine injured as well, severely vaccine injured. And he was a young guy in the military. So he was fit before he had 2 years to retirement and felt pressured to take it, and then ended up honorably discharged because he ended up with his heart function being reduced. Anyways, a lot of stuff, but he's now back. He has no more pain. He was taken out by pain like every night, would go to the emergency department. They didn't know what was going on. Just give him narcotics, send him home. And he was not, someone who's in the military, that they're screened and they're fit. They're not going to be there if they're not.
Yeah.
And so he's no more pain. His heart function has increased by 20%. He developed a thoracic aortic aneurysm, which is really bad. It was 4.2 centimeters when they finally caught it. And at 5 centimeters, they operate because the risk of rupture and death is that high. So there are I think it's difficult to say whether someone is experiencing, for example, shedding or that kind of thing, and then say that I think it's a bit blurry to be able to specifically say that's what it is and that's what it's helping with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. It's just like I said, a lot of I'm very susceptible very sensitive to a lot of different stuff, and I know it. I know my body, and I mean, I've this last 4 or 5 years has been a total journey. So now I'm going to continue with these guys. So or you guys, I love y'all. This new family of mine.
It's great.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks, Jim.
Oh, Simon has his hand up, or is that from before?
I think that's from before. Oh, Simon, unless you have another question.
Took it down.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Simon. All right, everybody. Well, I encourage you to reach out to the person that invited you on the call, invited you to watch the replay. If you're watching the replay, I want to thank you so much for your time tonight. This was I know, a powerful 2-hour call, and I appreciate all of your engagement and questions. And I mean, we're here because we're just so excited about it, excited about sharing it. So don't hesitate to reach out to us, ask us questions, reach out to the person that invited you on the call, and we hope to see you on the team soon if you're not already. So have a great evening, everyone. Take care.